Hello there, I'm Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise, and welcome to the second in a series of at least 2 videos with highlights from my travels through the exhibit hall at the 2017 GAMA trade show. So the reason for this video is because I wanted to ask you guys, the viewers, a question. See, as I wandered the exhibit hall and game demos this year, I seemed to notice an increase in the number of miniatures games over previous years. Now, I'm not sure if this is just due to my own awareness of miniatures games increasing over the past year, or if the number and popularity of minis in the hobby of board gaming is actually on the rise. For example, some of the standard tactical miniatures games were still present at GAMA, like Dust Tactics, which has been around since at least 2010, and is set in an alternate 1940s reality where alien technology fuels gigantic machines of war as the forces of the Axis and the Allies clash over rare mineral deposits that could inevitably decide the outcome of the war. That old story. But the hall was also populated with a variety of newer miniatures games that have been introduced in recent years, such as 2016's Orcs Must Die, which is based on an award-winning video game in which players must protect their strongholds from an onslaught of ornery orcs using an arsenal of traps and weapons. And then there was 2015's Guild Ball, a tabletop medieval football war game in which players take on the role of a coach of a monstrous team of athletes who are going to attempt to outscore their opponent while simultaneously working to achieve secret political objectives and, well, smash things. Guild Ball appears to be going strong and growing, and at GAMA they were showing several of their newest units and previewing the upcoming Farmers Guild, a new faction. So that was really neat to see. And then, of course, there was Simon, formerly known as Cool Mini or Not, who, of course, were discussing and announcing several new mini-centric games at the show, such as Arcadia Quest Inferno, which is a standalone expansion to Arcadia Quest, which is backwards compatible with the original base game and introduces 4 new guilds and new types of heroes, such as alchemists and gladiators. Additionally, there was the upcoming game The Godfather Corleone's Empire, which is planned to be a streamlined, confrontational worker placement game filled with murder and intrigue as well, in which players compete as the heads of various mafia families as they vie for economic control of organized crime networks throughout New York City. And, of course, being a CMON game, those workers you're placing in the worker placement part were really nice little sculpts. And that was not to be outshone by the upcoming game Rising Sun, which is the current hotness over on Kickstarter. This game promises to blend warfare, honor, and negotiation in a feudal Japanese setting, while the players are helped, or possibly hindered, by ancient gods who have returned to rebuild the empire. Now, as of this recording, Rising Sun's Kickstarter has raised millions, and it seems a new, highly detailed miniature has been introduced every other day during its campaign. So it was really interesting to see some of these sculpts up close and personal. And finally, one of CMON's big announcements at GAMA was their upcoming Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game based on the world developed by George R.R. Martin. In this tray-based miniatures warfare game, players will take control of armies of pre-assembled miniatures representing the various houses from the novels. Now, reportedly, the battles can potentially range from large-scale wars with hundreds of miniatures to simple little skirmishes between a few units, without complicating, or vastly altering the rules. The game is said to feature alternating activations to reduce players' downtime between turns, a rank system that changes a unit's capabilities over the course of the battles, strategic powers generated by limited resources that will be available, and iconic heroes that will lend advantages to a player's army. Whew, now that's a lot of stuff that this game is promising to do. All in all, it sounds very ambitious, and it's going to be interesting to see CMON use their talents at producing highly detailed minis to break away from just designing board games that utilize them to developing a full-on tactical miniatures game. Now, I don't often dabble into tactical miniatures warfare proper as much anymore, but this is one game that I'm going to be keeping my eye on over the months to come. So it was these mini games and more that caught my eye at GAMA and got me thinking about the potential growth of minis in the hobby board game market. But what do you think? Are miniatures games rising in popularity and increasing their share of the hobby board game market? Or, have they always been here and they're just gaining my attention because of several recent high-profile miniatures-based Kickstarters and popular games? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until then, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon in either another video from the floor of GAMA or back in the studio.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff, in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Ariel, listen to me. The human world, it's a mess. Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there.